A New Beginning. Emma's story. My name is Emma. My story begins when I was 12 years old. I was living with my uncle, Mr. Edwards. Because my parents had both passed away, Mr. Edwards was wealthy, and his house was large and beautiful. But I was not happy there. Mr. Edwards had two children, Sarah and Henry. They were my cousins, and they were both older than me. They never wanted to play with me and were often unkind. I was afraid of them, especially Henry. He enjoyed scaring me and making me feel sad. One afternoon, I hid from him in a small room. I had a book with many pictures in it, and I felt quite happy. Sarah, Henry, and their mother were in the living room, but then Henry decided to look for me. "Where's Emma?" he shouted. "Emma, Emma, come out." He could not find me at first. He was not quick or clever, and I hoped he would give up. But soon he found me. He opened the door and saw me with my book. He grabbed it from me and threw it on the floor. "You don't belong here," he said angrily. "Go back to where you came from." I ran out of the room, tears streaming down my face. I went to my small bedroom and lay on the bed, crying. I wished I could leave this place and find somewhere where I could be happy. A few weeks later, a letter arrived from Mr. Edwards. It was from a school in the countryside. They had a place for me if I wanted to go. I was excited and scared at the same time. I wanted to leave my uncle's house, but I did not know what the school would be like. Mr. Edwards decided to send me there. He did not care about me, and he thought it would be easier if I was not around. So, I packed my few belongings, and the next day, I left for the school. The journey was long, and I felt nervous. When I arrived, the school looked big and old. The headmistress, Miss Thompson, greeted me. She was a tall woman with a stern face. "Welcome, Emma," she said. "You will have to follow the rules here. We expect our students to work hard and behave well." I nodded and followed her inside. She showed me to my room. It was small but clean. I had to share it with another girl, Lily. She was friendly and smiled at me. "Hello, Emma," she said. "I hope we will be good friends." I smiled back. I hoped so too. The days at the school were busy. We had lessons in the morning and chores in the afternoon. The teachers were strict, but I liked learning new things. I was good at reading and writing, and Miss Brown, the English teacher, noticed my talent. "Emma, you have a gift for writing," she said one day. "You should continue to practice and improve your skills." Her words made me feel proud and happy. For the first time, I felt like I belonged somewhere. Lily and I became good friends, and we helped each other with our studies and chores. One day, a new student arrived at the school. Her name was Clara, and she was quiet and shy. She had lost her parents too, and I felt sorry for her. I decided to be her friend and help her feel welcome. "Hello, Clara," I said. "My name is Emma. If you need anything, just ask me." Clara smiled timidly. "Thank you, Emma. It's nice to have a friend." As the months passed, I grew more confident and happy. I loved my school and my friends. Miss Brown continued to encourage me with my writing, and I spent many hours writing stories and poems. One day, Miss Thompson called me to her office. I felt nervous, wondering if I had done something wrong, but when I entered, she smiled at me. "Emma, I have good news," she said. "A well-known writer, Mr. Harris, has read some of your work. He is very impressed and wants to meet you." I was shocked and thrilled. Meeting a real writer was a dream come true. The next week, Mr. Harris visited the school. He was a kind man with a warm smile. "Hello, Emma," he said. "I have read your stories, and I think you have great talent. I would like to help you become a better writer." We talked for a long time, and he gave me advice and encouragement. From that day on, I worked even harder on my writing, knowing that I had the support of someone who believed in me. Years passed, and I continued to study and write. When I turned 18, I graduated from the school with honors. Miss Brown and Miss Thompson were proud of me, and my friends wished me well. I decided to move to the city to pursue my dream of becoming a writer. Mr. Harris helped me find a small apartment and a job at a publishing house. I worked during the day and wrote at night, determined to succeed. Life in the city was not easy, but I was happy. I had a goal and a passion, and I knew that with hard work, I could achieve my dreams. My first book was published when I was 20, and it was well received. I felt proud and grateful for the support and encouragement I had received along the way. I continued to write and publish books, and over time, I became a well-known author. I never forgot my time at the school or the friends I made there. I visited often, giving talks to the students and encouraging them to follow their dreams. Looking back, I realized that my difficult childhood had made me stronger and more determined. I had found a place where I belonged and people who believed in me. I had turned my dreams into reality, and I knew that anything was possible with hard work and perseverance. A new chapter: life in the city. My name is Emma. My story continues as I begin a new chapter in the bustling city, filled with dreams of becoming a successful writer. After graduating from school with honors, I moved to the city to pursue my passion for writing. Mr. Harris, the kind writer who had taken an interest in my work, helped me find a small apartment and a job at a publishing house. Though my apartment was tiny and my job demanding, I felt a sense of excitement and hope for the future. Life in the city was a whirlwind of new experiences. The streets were always busy, filled with people hurrying to their destinations. The noise and energy were overwhelming at first, but I soon grew accustomed to the city's rhythm. During the day, I worked diligently at the publishing house, learning everything I could about the world of books and writing. At night, I poured my heart into my own stories, dreaming of the day when my work would be published. One evening, as I was working late at my desk, I received a letter from Mr. Harris. He had read some of my recent stories and wanted to discuss them with me. We arranged to meet at a cozy cafe near my apartment. "Emma, your writing has improved tremendously," he said warmly as we sat down with our tea. "I see great potential in your work. Have you considered submitting your stories to literary magazines?" His words filled me with both excitement and nerves. "I haven't yet, Mr. Harris. I wasn't sure if they were good enough." He smiled kindly. "They are more than good enough. You must believe in yourself. Send your best stories to a few magazines and see what happens." Encouraged by his confidence in me, I spent the next few weeks carefully revising my stories and preparing them for submission. I selected 3 of my favorites and sent them off, hoping for the best, but expecting little. Months passed, and I continued my routine of work and writing. One day, as I was sorting through the mail, I found an envelope from a prestigious literary magazine. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a letter informing me that one of my stories had been accepted for publication. I could hardly believe my eyes. I rushed to tell Mr. Harris, who was just as thrilled as I was. "This is just the beginning, Emma," he said with a proud smile. "Keep writing and submitting your work. Your talent will take you far." With renewed determination, I continued to write and submit my stories. More acceptances followed, and soon my work was being published in several well-known magazines. Each publication brought me closer to my dream of becoming a successful author. During this time, I also made new friends in the city. One of them was Mary, a fellow writer I met at a literary event. We bonded over our shared love of books and writing, and she became a close and supportive friend. We often met to discuss our work, share ideas, and encourage each other. As my writing career began to take off, I faced new challenges and opportunities. A journey of growth and friendship. My name is Emma. My story continues as I navigate the challenges and opportunities of life as a budding writer in the bustling city. With several of my stories published in literary magazines, my confidence grew. I felt more determined than ever to achieve my dream of becoming a successful author. Yet, the path was not without its difficulties. Balancing my job at the publishing house with my writing was exhausting, and rejection letters still arrived from time to time, reminding me that the journey would not be easy. One bright spot in my life was my friendship with Mary. We often met at the small cafe near my apartment, discussing our latest projects and offering each other encouragement. Mary had a passion for poetry, and her work was beautiful and moving. Her support was invaluable, especially on days when self-doubt crept in. "Emma, your stories have a unique voice," Mary would say. "Don't let a few rejections discourage you. Keep writing and pushing forward." One day, Mary shared exciting news with me. She had been accepted into a prestigious writer's workshop and invited me to join her. "This could be a great opportunity for both of us," she said eagerly. "We'll learn from established writers and connect with others in the literary community." Thrilled by the prospect, I applied and was accepted into the workshop. Over the next few months, Mary and I attended sessions led by renowned authors, participated in writing exercises, and received valuable feedback on our work. The experience was both inspiring and humbling, pushing me to refine my craft and think more deeply about my stories. During one of the workshop sessions, I met Mr. Aldrich, a successful novelist who took an interest in my work. "You have a talent for storytelling, Emma," he said after reading one of my pieces. "Have you considered writing a novel?" The idea had crossed my mind, but it seemed daunting. "I've thought about it, but I'm not sure where to start," I admitted. Mr. Aldrich offered some advice. "Start with what you know and care about. Develop your characters and let them guide the story. Writing a novel is a long journey, but it's worth it." Inspired by his words, I began outlining my first novel. I spent countless hours crafting my characters, developing the plot, and writing scenes. It was challenging, but I felt a deep sense of satisfaction as the story took shape. As I worked on my novel, I continued to submit short stories to magazines and anthologies. The rejection still came, but so did the acceptances. Each published piece was a small victory, reinforcing my belief in my writing. One evening, Mary and I attended a literary event where Mr. Harris was speaking. After his talk, we approached him to catch up. "Emma, I've been following your progress," he said with a warm smile. "I'm proud of how far you've come. Keep pursuing your dreams with the same passion and dedication." His words meant the world to me. I felt grateful for his mentorship and the support of friends like Mary. They had helped me navigate the ups and downs of my writing journey. As the months passed, I completed the first draft of my novel. It was a story close to my heart, inspired by my experiences and the people I had met along the way. I shared the manuscript with Mr. Harris and Mr. Aldrich, seeking their feedback. Their responses were encouraging. "You have a strong voice and a compelling story," Mr. Aldrich said. "With some revisions, this could be an excellent debut novel." Encouraged by their feedback, I spent several more months revising and polishing my manuscript. It was hard work, but I knew it was necessary to make the story the best it could be. Finally, the day came when I felt ready to submit my novel to publishers. I sent it to several literary agents, hoping one would see its potential. The waiting was agonizing, but I tried to stay positive. One afternoon, as I was working at the publishing house, I received an email from an agent named Miss White. She loved my novel and wanted to represent me. I could hardly believe it. My dream was within reach. Miss White worked tirelessly to find a publisher for my novel. After several months of discussions and negotiations, a respected publishing house offered me a contract. I was overjoyed and grateful for the opportunity. When my novel was finally published, it received positive reviews and resonated with readers. The journey had been long and challenging, but seeing my book in print made it all worthwhile. I felt a deep sense of accomplishment and gratitude for everyone who had supported me along the way. As I continued to write and grow as an author, I never forgot the lessons I had learned or the people who had helped me. My friendship with Mary remained strong, and we celebrated each other's successes. Mr. Harris and Mr. Aldrich continued to offer their guidance and support. Looking back, I realized that my journey had been about more than just achieving my dream. It was about finding my voice, building lasting friendships, and discovering the strength within myself to overcome challenges. I knew there would be more obstacles and rejections ahead, but I was ready to face them. With hard work, perseverance, and the support of those who believed in me, I was confident that I could achieve anything I set my mind to. A season of change and new horizons. My story continues as I embrace new challenges and opportunities, navigating the ever-evolving landscape of my writing career. With my debut novel published and well-received, I felt a mixture of pride and anticipation for what lay ahead. The success of my book opened doors to new opportunities, but it also brought new responsibilities and expectations. I knew I had to keep working hard to build on my achievements. One of the most exciting opportunities came when I was invited to speak at a literary festival. It was a chance to share my experiences and connect with other writers and readers. Mary, who had also made significant strides in her poetry career, was invited as well. We were thrilled to attend the festival together. The festival was held in a picturesque town by the sea. The atmosphere was vibrant and buzzing with creativity. As Mary and I walked through the crowded streets, we felt a sense of camaraderie with the other writers and artists we encountered. On the day of my panel, I felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. I had prepared my speech carefully, wanting to inspire and encourage others. As I stepped onto the stage and looked out at the audience, I took a deep breath and began to speak. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Emma, and I am honored to be here today. My journey as a writer has been filled with challenges, but it has also been incredibly rewarding. I want to share some of the lessons I've learned along the way. As I spoke, I felt a connection with the audience. I saw nods of understanding and smiles of encouragement. It was a powerful reminder of the impact that stories and words can have on people's lives. After the panel, many attendees approached me with questions and kind words. I was touched by their interest and support. One young woman, Emily, stood out to me. She was just starting her own writing journey and was full of questions and enthusiasm. Emma, your story is so inspiring, Emily said. Do you have any advice for someone just starting out? I smiled at her eagerness. Believe in yourself and your voice, Emily. Write what you are passionate about, and don't be afraid of rejection. Every writer faces it. Keep learning, keep writing, and never give up on your dreams. The festival was a whirlwind of activities, and Mary and I made the most of it. We attended workshops, listened to readings, and made connections with other writers. It was an enriching experience that left us both feeling inspired and motivated. Back in the city, I returned to my routine of work and writing. With the success of my first novel, my publisher encouraged me to start working on a second book. The idea excited and intimidated me, but I was eager to take on the challenge. I spent weeks brainstorming and outlining my new story. I wanted to create something fresh and different, while still staying true to my voice. The process was slow at first, but gradually, the story began to take shape. During this time, I also faced personal changes. My friend Mary received an offer to study poetry in a prestigious program abroad. It was a fantastic opportunity for her, and though I was sad to see her go, I was thrilled for her success. Emma, this isn't goodbye, Mary said as we hugged before her departure. We'll stay in touch, and I'll visit whenever I can. I know, I replied, smiling through my tears. I'm so proud of you, Mary. Go and make the most of this opportunity. With Mary away, I focused on my new novel and continued to build my network in the literary community. I attended book launches, participated in writing groups, and even started mentoring young writers like Emily. It was fulfilling to give back and support others on their creative journeys. As my second novel progressed, I faced new challenges. The pressure to match the success of my first book was intense, and self-doubt often crept in. I reminded myself of the advice I had given Emily and tried to stay focused on my work. One day, while revising a particularly challenging chapter, I received an unexpected email. It was from a film producer who had read my first novel and wanted to discuss the possibility of adapting it into a movie. I was stunned and excited by the prospect. The meeting with the producer, Mr. Davis, was both thrilling and nerve-wracking. He was enthusiastic about my story and believed it would make a compelling film. We discussed the adaptation process, and I felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. "Emma, your novel has all the elements of a great film," Mr. Davis said. "We want to stay true to your vision and bring your characters to life on the screen." The idea of seeing my story turned into a movie was a dream come true. After careful consideration and discussions with my agent, I agreed to the adaptation. The process was long and involved, but I was grateful for the opportunity to be part of it. As the months passed, I juggled my work on the film adaptation with my writing. My second novel was nearing completion, and I felt a sense of accomplishment and relief. It had been a challenging journey, but I was proud of the story I had created. Finally, the day came when I submitted the manuscript to my publisher. The wait for feedback was agonizing, but when it came, it was positive. They loved the new novel and were excited to publish it. With 2 books published and a film adaptation in the works, I felt like I was living my dream, but I also knew that my journey was far from over. There were still many stories to tell, challenges to overcome, and new horizons to explore. As I looked back on my journey, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the people who had supported and believed in me. From my friends like Mary to mentors like Mr. Harris and Mr. Aldridge, they had all played a crucial role in helping me achieve my dreams. I was ready to face whatever the future held, knowing that with hard work, perseverance, and the support of my loved ones, anything was possible. New ventures and unforeseen challenges. My story continues as I explore new ventures and face unforeseen challenges, learning valuable lessons along the way. With my second novel published and the film adaptation of my first novel in progress, life was both exciting and hectic. The demands of my writing career were growing, and I had to balance multiple projects and responsibilities. Despite the busy schedule, I remain passionate about my work and determined to continue growing as a writer. The film adaptation of my first novel was moving forward smoothly. I had the opportunity to visit the set and meet the actors bringing my characters to life. It was surreal to see scenes from my book being played out in real life. The director, Miss Taylor, was talented and had a clear vision for the film. "Emma, your story is incredibly powerful," she said during one of my visits. "We're doing our best to honor your vision and create something special." Watching the filming process was fascinating, and I felt proud to be part of such a creative endeavor. The cast and crew were dedicated and passionate, and their enthusiasm was contagious. Amidst the excitement of the film, I began brainstorming ideas for my third novel. I wanted to challenge myself with a different genre and decided to write a historical fiction novel. The research was extensive, but I found it captivating. I immersed myself in history books and visited museums to gather as much information as possible. As I delved into my new project, I also received an invitation to teach a creative writing course at a local university. The idea of sharing my knowledge and experiences with aspiring writers was appealing, and I accepted the offer. Teaching the course was a rewarding experience. I enjoyed interacting with students and helping them develop their writing skills. One of my students, Alex, stood out for his creativity and dedication. He reminded me of myself when I first started writing. I took him under my wing, offering extra guidance and encouragement. "Alex, your writing has great potential," I said during one of our sessions. "Keep honing your craft and never stop believing in your talent." As the weeks turned into months, my life settled into a new rhythm. I balanced teaching, writing my historical novel, and overseeing the final stages of the film adaptation. It was a busy but fulfilling time. However, just when things seemed to be going well, I faced an unforeseen challenge. One morning, I woke up with a sharp pain in my wrist. At first, I dismissed it as a minor issue, but the pain persisted and worsened. Writing became difficult, and I struggled to complete even simple tasks. Concerned, I visited a doctor who diagnosed me with repetitive strain injury (RSI). The condition was common among writers and required rest and physical therapy. The news was disheartening. Writing was my passion and my livelihood, and the thought of not being able to write was devastating. Determined not to let the injury derail my career, I followed the doctor's advice and took a break from writing. I focused on my physical therapy and explored alternative ways to stay creative. I started using voice recognition software to dictate my thoughts and ideas, which helped alleviate some of the strain on my wrist. During this challenging period, my friends and family offered unwavering support. Mary, who had returned from her poetry program, was a constant source of encouragement. "Emma, take this time to rest and heal," she said. "Your creativity will find a way, and you'll come back stronger." My students at the university also showed incredible empathy and understanding. Alex, in particular, expressed his concern and offered to help in any way he could. "You're an inspiration to us, Emma," he said. "We'll be here for you through this." As I adjusted to my new circumstances, I discovered that adversity could lead to unexpected growth. The break from writing gave me a fresh perspective and allowed me to explore other interests. I took up painting, something I had always wanted to try but never found the time for. The act of creating art with colors and brushes was therapeutic and opened up new avenues of creativity. Gradually, with the help of therapy and support from loved ones, my wrist began to heal. I started writing again, slowly at first, and then with increasing confidence. The experience had taught me valuable lessons about resilience and the importance of taking care of oneself. The historical novel I had been working on before my injury started to take shape once more. The research and planning I had done earlier made it easier to dive back into the story. Writing felt different now, more intentional and deliberate. I was grateful for every word I could put on paper. Meanwhile, the film adaptation of my first novel was completed and ready for release. The premiere was a glamorous event, and I felt a mix of excitement and nerves as I walked the red carpet. Seeing my story on the big screen was a surreal and emotional experience. The film received positive reviews, and I felt a deep sense of pride and accomplishment. With my third novel nearing completion and the success of the film adaptation, I reflected on the journey that had brought me to this point. There had been many highs and lows, but each experience had shaped me as a writer and as a person. I had learned to embrace change, overcome challenges, and find strength in the support of my friends and community. As I looked to the future, I felt a renewed sense of purpose and excitement. There were still many stories to tell, adventures to embark on, and lessons to learn. My writing career was a journey, and I was ready to continue exploring its endless possibilities, embracing new opportunities and finding balance. My story continues as I embrace new opportunities, seek balance in my life, and continue to grow as a writer and individual. With the success of the film adaptation and the completion of my third novel, I felt a sense of achievement and excitement for the future. My historical novel, titled Whispers of the Past, was well received by my publisher, and I eagerly anticipated its release. The positive reception of my work opened new doors. I received invitations to speak at various literary events, participate in panel discussions, and even collaborate on a new anthology with other authors. While these opportunities were thrilling, they also added to my already busy schedule. One day, as I was juggling multiple commitments, I received a call from Miss White, my literary agent. "Emma, I have some exciting news," she said. "A renowned publishing house in Europe is interested in translating your novels into several languages. They believe your stories have a global appeal." The prospect of reaching an international audience was exhilarating. I agreed to the translations, knowing it would expand my readership and bring my stories to new corners of the world. However, with all the new projects and commitments, I began to feel overwhelmed. The constant demands on my time and energy were taking a toll on my well-being. I realized that I needed to find a better balance between my work and personal life. Mary, who had always been a voice of reason, Notice my exhaustion. Emma, you need to take care of yourself, she said gently. You've achieved so much, but it's important to rest and recharge. Let's take a weekend trip to the countryside. It will do you good. Reluctantly, I agreed. We traveled to a quaint village nestled in the hills, far from the hustle and bustle of the city. The serene landscape and fresh air were a welcome change. We spent our days hiking, exploring the village, and simply enjoying each other's company. The trip was rejuvenating. It reminded me of the importance of self-care and taking time to appreciate the simple pleasures in life. I returned to the city with a renewed sense of clarity and determination to find a better balance. Back home, I made some changes to my routine. I set aside time each day for relaxation and hobbies, such as painting and reading. I also started practicing mindfulness and meditation, which helped me stay grounded and focused. As I continued to work on my various projects, I learned to prioritize and manage my time more effectively. I also became more selective about the commitments I took on, ensuring that they aligned with my goals and values. The release of Whispers of the Past was a significant milestone. The novel received glowing reviews, and readers praised its rich historical detail and compelling characters. I felt a deep sense of satisfaction and pride in my work. Around this time, I was approached by a major publishing company with an offer to write a memoir. They believed my journey as a writer, with all its ups and downs, would resonate with many people. The idea intrigued me, and after some reflection, I decided to take on the challenge. Writing my memoir was a deeply personal and introspective process. It required me to revisit my past, confront my fears and insecurities, and reflect on the lessons I had learned. It was both cathartic and enlightening. As I delved into my memories, I realized how much I had grown and changed over the years. From the shy girl who moved to the city with big dreams to the accomplished author standing before new horizons, my journey had been transformative. Throughout the writing process, I received tremendous support from my friends and mentors. Mary, who had been by my side through thick and thin, provided valuable feedback and encouragement. Mr. Harris and Mr. Aldridge offered their insights and guidance, helping me shape my story into a cohesive and impactful narrative. The memoir, titled Ink and Dreams, A Writer's Journey, was published to great acclaim. Readers connected with my story, finding inspiration in my experiences and the lessons I had shared. The success of the memoir further solidified my place in the literary world and opened new opportunities for speaking engagements and collaborations. With my memoir published, I turned my attention to new projects. I started working on a series of short stories that explored different genres and themes. This allowed me to experiment and push the boundaries of my creativity. One of the most rewarding projects was a collaboration with Alex, my former student. He had blossomed into a talented writer, and we decided to co-author a collection of stories. Working with Alex was a joy, and it reminded me of the importance of mentorship and nurturing young talent. As I continued to navigate my career, I remained committed to finding balance and prioritizing my well-being. I made time for my hobbies, spent quality moments with friends and family, and continued to practice mindfulness and self-care. Looking back on my journey, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the experiences and people who had shaped my path. The challenges and triumphs had taught me invaluable lessons about resilience, perseverance, and the importance of staying true to oneself. As I looked to the future, I felt excited about the endless possibilities. There were still many stories to tell, new adventures to embark on, and opportunities to grow and learn. My journey as a writer was ongoing, and I embraced each new chapter with an open heart and a curious mind. Through it all, I remained dedicated to my craft and committed to inspiring others through my words. Writing was not just a career, it was a lifelong passion and a source of profound fulfillment. And as long as I had stories to share and dreams to pursue, I knew that my journey would continue to be rich and rewarding. New beginnings and unexpected paths. With the success of my memoir, Ink and Dreams, A Writer's Journey, I felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Sharing my personal story with the world had been both challenging and rewarding. The positive response from readers and the connections I made through my memoir inspired me to keep pushing the boundaries of my creativity. One of the most exciting opportunities came when I was approached by a renowned university to lead a series of creative writing workshops. The idea of nurturing aspiring writers and sharing my knowledge in a more structured setting appealed to me. I accepted the offer and began preparing for the workshops. The workshops were a wonderful experience. I met talented individuals from diverse backgrounds, each with their unique voice and story to tell, guiding them through the writing process, offering feedback, and witnessing their growth was incredibly rewarding. I felt a deep sense of purpose in helping others achieve their dreams. One of my students, Hannah, stood out for her passion and dedication. She had a natural talent for storytelling and a unique perspective that shone through in her writing. I took her under my wing, offering mentorship and encouragement. "Emma, your guidance has been invaluable," Hannah said one day after class. "I never imagined my writing could reach this level." "Believe in your talent, Hannah," I replied. "You have a gift, and the world deserves to hear your stories." As I balanced teaching, writing, and speaking engagements, I also sought new ways to challenge myself creatively. I decided to explore screenwriting, inspired by the successful adaptation of my first novel. Writing for the screen was a different discipline, but I was excited by the possibilities it offered. I enrolled in a screenwriting course to hone my skills and began working on a screenplay for a new story idea. The process was both invigorating and demanding, requiring me to think visually and structure my narrative in a new way. I enjoyed the challenge and the opportunity to expand my creative horizons. Meanwhile, my friendship with Mary continued to flourish. She had published her own poetry collection, which received critical acclaim. We often collaborated on projects and supported each other in our creative endeavors. Our bond had grown stronger over the years, and I cherished our partnership. One day, Mary and I decided to embark on a new project together, a joint book of poems and short stories. The project was a celebration of our friendship and our shared love for literature. We spent countless hours brainstorming, writing, and editing, weaving our voices together into a cohesive collection. The book, titled Echoes and Whispers, was a labor of love. It was well received by readers, who appreciated the blend of poetry and prose and the deep connection between the two authors. The project further solidified our creative partnership and brought us even closer. As I continued to explore new creative avenues, I also faced personal challenges. My parents' health began to decline, and I found myself spending more time caring for them. Balancing my career with my responsibilities at home was difficult, but it also reminded me of the importance of family and the need to cherish every moment. During this period, I reflected on the themes of love, loss, and resilience in my work. My experiences caring for my parents influenced my writing, adding depth and emotional resonance to my stories. I realized that life's challenges could be a source of inspiration and strength. Amidst these changes, I received an offer to collaborate on a television series based on my historical novel, Whispers of the Past. The idea of bringing my story to a wider audience through television was thrilling. I worked closely with the producers and writers, ensuring that the adaptation stayed true to the essence of my novel. The process of developing the series was a learning experience. I gained insight into the world of television production and the collaborative effort required to bring a story to life on screen. It was a new and exciting chapter in my career, and I embraced it with enthusiasm. As the series progressed, I continued to write and explore new projects. I started a blog to share my thoughts on writing, creativity, and life. The blog allowed me to connect with readers in a more personal and immediate way. I enjoyed the interaction and the sense of community that developed around my posts. Throughout this journey, I remained committed to finding balance and taking care of my well-being. I made time for my hobbies, practiced mindfulness, and ensured that I stayed connected with my loved ones. The lessons I had learned about self-care and resilience were invaluable, guiding me through both the highs and lows. Looking back on my journey, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the opportunities and experiences that had shaped me as a writer and as a person. Each challenge had been a lesson, each success a milestone, and each new path a chance to grow and explore. As I looked to the future, I felt excited about the endless possibilities. There were still many stories to tell, new adventures to embark on, and opportunities to learn and evolve. My journey as a writer was a lifelong adventure, and I embraced each new chapter with curiosity and an open heart. Through it all, I remained dedicated to my craft and committed to inspiring others through my words. Writing was not just a career, it was a passion that brought meaning and joy to my life. And as long as I had stories to share and dreams to pursue, I knew that my journey would continue to be rich and rewarding.